Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel TDev class. My name is Tejiri. In these tutorials, I'll be doing up a follow-up tutorials on my previous class where I showed you how to set up Powergrid Datatable on your Laravel application. But today I'll be telling or showing you how to set it up, but instead I'll be showing you how to perform configuration on your Powergrid Datatable, such as table relationship, and as well as you to be able to edit data on the Powergrid Datatable without you leaving the page or even creating a new route. So part of the things we'll be needing for these tutorials will be I'll be creating a new table, or I'll be creating a seeder which will help to populate our database with the data I will be needing for these tutorials. After which I'll show you how to perform the configuration. So let's get started. So let's head over to your terminal. Let's create our seeder and factory and then configure it. So on your terminal, type php artisan make seed space employee. One more thing you have to put into consideration is that when creating a seeder, your seed have to bear the same name with your model, otherwise you run into error, which of course you will stay a very long time trying to fix it. So to avoid all those challenges, make sure your seed, your factory, and your model have the same name. So mine is called employee. Press enter. Okay, so our seed is created. Next we'll create a factory. So our factory is still going to be the same name. We'll just change this to factory and then hit enter. So it says a factory already exists. I forgot I already created this factory in a previous video, so I'll just go ahead to continue the configuration for the factory. So our factory, as you can see here, it takes in our previous video, instead of name I use first and last name, but to reduce the space, display space on our table, I have to change it to just name, because we'll be joining this employee table, which will be referencing our user table with user ID. But I did not include that user ID here because Laravel will automatically take care of that, which is this one. That's the table relationship. So what we're saying here is every user has one employee. That's what this statement means. So let's go down to our seeder to configure seed. So to do that, you enter your /app/models user factory. We'll need 50 records to be created for us. Now this is where we are calling that function which was created, which I just showed you a while ago. So I'll say has. Now I'll be making reference to the employee model here. So be models /employee factory. So that is it. Next thing we'll do here is the create method, which is going to persist our data in the database. So this is all you have to do, and Laravel will take care of the rest for us to generate the seed. So we'll come down here to run our code, hit enter. Now I'm going to rerun that command again. There's something I forgot. In our previous class, we have some data in the user table. So I want this command to drop the table and generate it for us again. So to do that, we'll type php artisan fresh migrate fresh seed seeder, then the name of our class. There's a typo error, sorry about that. Okay, that was an error. Unknown column name. So I think during my modification to my user table, I did not change the name as well in our see. Okay, let me look at the person table. Yes, I did not make the changes here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to use this as our reference key, user ID, and I think that's it. Let's take a look at our model to be sure that this is okay. So on the model too, include it in the fillable. So having done that, I'll run the command again. So this time it was successful. So what he did, he just dropped the table and he ran the command all over again. So now that we have our demo data set up for us, let's go to our application to see how it is. Meanwhile, let me pick a user and log in as that user. While that is loading, let me start Laravel server. So to do that, PHP artisan serve. Don't forget to also run npm run dev. For development, you'll be using dev, but once you've completed the development and you're ready to deploy, you will be using build instead. So since it's currently in development, I'll be using dev. Press enter. We head back to our application. This is my database. I'll pick a user, just any user. So log in. Enter your password. Okay, so the reason why we are not seeing those input boxes here is because while I was generating this Powergrid table, I instructed Powergrid not to generate fillable, filter for us. I just requested for it to be blank. So that's why we're seeing that table. It may look different from what you are having. So now to edit the Powergrid data table, you head down to apps, http, livewire, and then the name of your class. For me, it's employee table. That's the name of the class appearing there. So first now I want to do is I'm going to remove that filter which we are seeing currently on the application, which is this. I'm going to take it off completely. So to do that, I'll be deleting this and I'll just simply save. Now let's start our let's start this in proper. The first configuration we'll be doing is I'll be joining the user table. Currently it's just the employee table information that is being displayed here. So to do that, you head up to where we have relationship. No, I mean query, where you have query. So on the query section, you are going to be joining our user table, which is written this way. And this join method takes in two parameters. The first parameter is the name of our table, which is user, and then the second parameter is the name of the column which you want to make reference to. So it takes a function. This function takes in a parameter which I'll be calling employee. You can call it whatever you like. I'll be calling mine employee. You press enter. So now that variable employee will be called with a method on. This on was simply telling data table that we are joining these two tables using this reference key, which is users.id and then equals to, then now for employee, our reference key on employee table, remember the name of our table is employees. To confirm that, let's head over to phpMyAdmin. If you look over here, you see employees. Now if you open employees table, this is the user ID I'm pointing to. From employee table, I'm pointing this reference key to user reference key. If that sounds a little bit confusing, don't worry, I will show you how it works in a moment. And just in case you're interested in learning more about how to construct your Laravel query, or you have questions as regard this, please don't forget to ask your question in the comment section, or you have a question as regard what we've done so far, please don't forget to ask it in the comment section, or you have a suggestion, do that in the comment section. And don't forget to also subscribe to this YouTube channel, so as when I create a next video showing you how to solve that problem or challenge, you'll get notified. So simply click on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, so you get notified as soon as I release the next video. So let's get back to the video. Haven't joined those tables, so what we're joining, the users, the employees table will be joined on users_id. Now the next thing we'll be doing, so that's all. The next thing we'll be doing is we'll be telling Laravel, we'll be telling Powergrid Datatable which column to select. So you have to use the select statement, select method. Inside the select method, it takes in an array. This array contains the columns which you want to call, which you want to display on in your database. So part of the columns I'll be displaying are, one, I'll be saying employees.id. This is an array, so I'll be using comma. Employees dot name and users dot email employee. I did this on purpose so as to let you know that when you are using this select method, you can call in the columns you want. You can put in as much, you can chain in as much as you wish. Number of tables, let's say you have more than 2 tables. For this, I'm chaining 2 tables together. For you may want to chain more than 2. You may have 2, 3, 4 tables you want to fetch data from using the table relationship. Meanwhile, if you are doing that, you have to make sure that those tables you are referencing have the same ID. Back to our tutorials. What's left now is address. So that's all. Now for me to, if you look at our application, you see that is not appearing on our table yet. So to make it appear on the table, you scroll down to where you have columns. Now I won't be needing this created at column to be shown. I'm doing this because of space. So I will say column, and then the name of the column I want to display. Just a moment. Email. I think address is not here. Address. So for this email, I'll be moving it. I can't use comma here because this is not an array. So I'll be moving it immediately after names. Then also you come down to where we have columns. You repeat it. I don't want this column. This is hidden from the user. I'll take that. I'll leave it. I'll make modification to it. So here we have name. Next will be user email, which is just email. Next will be company, which is going to be company. I know you may be saying this is hidden. Yes, so I'm going to change that. I'll just leave it as this and do the same thing for this column as well. So let me see if that's all I need. Then address. Now here, this is where you arrange the information being displayed in the order to which you want it to show on the front. So once you've done that, we head back to our front. As you can see, it's being displayed here. So we have name, first we have name. I think I have to change that to names. It doesn't really matter. This is just a tutorial. So we have names, email, company, and address. So next thing I'll be showing you is excuse me. I'll be showing you how to, for example, you want a user to be able to edit this name without having to navigate to a different page where you edit the name. You want the editing to be done right here on the page. I'll show you how to do that right now. So to do that, it's very simple. You just go to the very top. Lately you have your class declaration. You create a variable, a public array variable with the name, column name. You want to enable that feature. For me, I want to do it for names. You can do it for all the columns if you wish, but I'll be doing it for just the name column, which is this one, the name column here. So to do that, once we've done that, you scroll all the way down. You scroll down to where we have columns, this function columns. So on this function columns, this is where you do that. So you come here, you add another method, which is going to be, we're calling the method edit on click. So that's it. That's all you need to do here. This edit on click method, you can check it out. Let's see if I can. It's not letting me. This edit on click method, it takes in, I'll say here, it takes in several arguments, which are, you can include permission. You could include data field, which is done for us by default. We don't have to do that ourselves. Data grid table does that for us. So, but talking about the permission, you may be developing a system whereby it has user permissions, and you want to assign you assign certain permissions to different user, and you don't want certain user to be able to perform this action we're doing now, that is to edit the column. So to do that, you just simply add the user type here. You set it here, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'll be hacking this, and I'll just set it to true, which means it's open for everyone in the system that is viewing this, that have this privilege to see the table, right? So the next thing we'll do is we are creating another function. This function is responsible for performing the updates in our database. So the name of the function is unupdated editable. It takes in 3 parameters, all of which are string. So the first one is string ID. Yeah. Second one is string fields. That's the field you are making changes to. But of course, you don't have to call the string. It's being done from the top. The various variable are created. Then the third one are the values, which is also a string. So it doesn't return any type, so I'll just call the void here. So down here we'll call our method, which is employee. I'm calling employee because the column we're updating is on employee. But if the column you're updating is on a different, let's say, user table, you'll be calling user method here. So you can call as many methods as you want. So we'll write a query here. It takes a method query and then calls the find method. This find method takes in an argument. It takes in the ID which is passed in into our function from here, and then the update statement which performs the update itself. This update takes an array. It accepts an array, which is the field we are updating, which is passed in to our function, and then the values, which is also an array. So once you've done that, you click on save. That's all you have to do to enable that. Now, if you look closely, you will notice that have been implemented for us. So let's say I want to edit this name here, you double click and you update the name and you press enter, and it's updated for us. Field, okay, there's an error. It's a typo error. I'm supposed to write field here. So if I come back and I repeat that, it should work. And if we check our database, remember that is a user ID, the fourth user here, you see. So the data is updated for us. We don't have to create a route for this purpose. It's been done for us thanks to Powergrid. So the next thing I'll be showing you is how to perform table relationship. No, before I go into that, let me show you. Let's say what will happen if a user comes here and deletes everything and presses enter. You see, there's no validation being done here. We wouldn't want that to happen to a live database whereby need to be validated. Maybe when the data is being imputed, there are validation here, but when you come here, there are no validation. It's a poor design model. So to solve these challenges, it's very simple. What we'll be doing is we'll head back to the very top where we created our row. We're calling that, this is the name of the column we're updating. So we'll set our own validation, this is how to set a validation. You type protected, it takes an array, and then rules, validation rules. It takes an array. Now in these validation rules, you begin to configure your validation just the same way you do when you write your normal Laravel validation. So I'm taking in the name dot like this. This is how it's being written. So here you set an array of the validation you want to put there. Required, and then I will say I want a minimum of 3 characters, comma. You can have as much rows as you want. For where you have multiple rows, you are updating. So once we've done that, head back to our application. Let's say I enter Jones here. It accepts it. Now, what will happen if I want to do that same action I performed before? You will notice coming is not supposed to update. Oh, sorry. I created the rules, but I wasn't calling it in our function below. So once you've created your rule, one more thing you need to do is you need to call it down here on on update editable. So what you do here is you just call that rules which was implemented at the top this way, validated. So this is how to call it. It's a function that performs the validation for us. So that's it. So if I come back here, I refresh. Let's say I write the name John. It accepts it. Now I want to remove the name John. It fails. See, it wasn't updated in our database. So let's say I want to enter a name which is like this. Let's say R or Doctor. It won't take it. The minimum requirement is 3 characters. So if let's say I put this way, it's accepted. So that's how to perform validation on when you're trying to make that field editable. So the next thing I'll be showing you now is how to perform filter on your database. Let me show you what I mean filter. Now just imagine you're creating a table and you want certain fields to be sortable, you want to enable filtration on certain fields. You don't want whereby someone will come and this is supposed to be okay, it's correct. You don't want situation where someone will come and type Sienna in our search bar and then it begins to filter and it brings okay, now perfect, this is what I want. You see, it's not filtering that address, right? So to perform that action, to make the filter, to create the table relationship, all you have to do is scroll up. There's a function already created for us here, which is the relation search. I'm pretty sure the relation search does explain what it does, which is configure here relationship to be used by the search and table filter. So to do this now, first thing you have to put in mind, you need to go back to your method, employee method. My employee method is here, and you create that relationship. So that relationship is being created here. If you fail to do this, I bet you'll be running into error from your application. So to create that relationship, first of all, let me import. For some weird reasons, I don't know why it's not importing when I call those it's not calling those methods, so I have to do it manually. So what we're looking for is inside relationship, not relationship, relation / belongs to. Don't forget to put the belongs. Haven't done that, you come down here and you create your relationship, your Laravel relationship, public function user return type of belongs to, and then returns the class belong. Which is going to call our method user class. So that's all you have to do here. Once you've done that, this method will be called for us here. So to call that method here, you simply come into this array. You can have as much as possible as you want, and you can nest it if you want to as well, but I won't be nesting it. I just want to pick few columns which I want to use. So I'll call that relationship belongs to created in the employee method here, which is user. Then set, it takes an array of email. I want email to be sorted, and name, just those two columns. So that's it. We click on save. If we head back to our application, refresh. Actually, you don't need to refresh. So let's say now you see 50 record being returned. Let's say now I want to find all the subdomain, all the domain of example.org. You input it in here, and then it returns. You see 19 records returned, right? And now you see that it's just the domain.org, example.org, that is being returned. Let's say we want .com. You see. So what about if we were looking for setting name? Is being sorted for us. So what about if I pick an address here? I don't expect it to return anything for that address. So to do, if you want to include the address, you just simply include that in our array here. This is why I love livewire. It's very straightforward and quite easy. So now we've done that modification. If I put in the West, it returns all the results that has West in it. If you look at our address, yeah, the address, let me see, I'm not seeing West, but anyway, that's how to, I hope I saved that. Okay, yes I did. So that's how to perform those configuration. Remember, I showed you how to perform the data table modification and then the field table relationship. So we've come to the end of this video for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button as well as to hit the thumbs up, so to enable YouTube suggest this video to other people and to help, who knows who you'll be helping by doing that. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.